I'm a big fan of this guest tonight. I've had a chance to talk with him several times and talk football with him, and he knows a lot about it. He's been doing it for a while now, entering his 14th season as the head football coach for your Hillsdale Hornets. Mark Lemerand, thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for having us, Andy.
Okay. Looking at the records here from the past, I like to do this entering a season. You've had 11 consecutive winning seasons at Hillsdale High School, entering now your 14th year. Mm-hmm. You look around the programs in the area, and it seems like when you're able to have a coaching staff that's got some stability and is able to stick it out through some tough seasons, you start to see those teams having success. And now you've strung together 11 consecutive winning seasons. That's a heck of an accomplishment.
Well, I think our coaching staff sticking together has been huge for our program. You know, we've had a lot of continuity all the way through, and it's been from our middle school up through the high school level. And when the kids are hearing the same thing day after day, it's beneficial to the program.
And the proof is in the pudding. You know, at the coffee shop last year, there was a little bit of talk. Well, the Hornets might be down a little bit this year. Maybe they don't have enough talent to have another playoff year. And then there you go again. You get off to kind of a tough start. You turn it around. You get the 6 wins. You make it to another playoffs. How are you able to deal with adversity as a coaching staff, even if you lose an opening game to Hudson or whatever the case may be, and still have a winning season? And you've done that now several times in your career.
For us, we just really focus 1 week at a time. I know it's a cliche, and all the coaches say that, but that's really true. We never look to who our next opponent's going to be. We're always trying to stay focused and keep the kids focused on themselves. The next opponent can only run a certain amount of things or do a certain amount of things. We have to control what we control, and that's ourselves. And so we always try to just focus on that and our fundamentals.
Talked to Brad Felix this summer. Our kids are on ball teams together, and we talk about your work ethic, the hours that you put in, game planning and working on film and putting this whole thing together. What's the fuel for your fire? I mean, what motivates you to put that time in every single week, every single year for this Hornet football program?
The kids. We're going to ask a lot out of them, and so we have to ask a lot out of ourselves. And I think myself and the coaches, we do put in a lot of time, but it's for the kids. I've been watching this particular class come through because my daughter's in this class, so I've known these guys for a long time, and I wouldn't want to short them in any way.
Can you talk about your weekends? We'll talk about your game coming up in just a minute, but I'm interested in your, because you've got a proven track record now, your process over a weekend. It's Saturday now, Saturday morning. Can you walk us through what a typical Mark Lemerand weekend looks like during the season as far as your schedule goes?
Mm-hmm. Saturday morning, about 8 o'clock, I usually meet with our quarterbacks, and they download our film. We have a video editing system, and they get that ready, and I take the film, and I'll go and exchange with whoever our game is. Next week we're going to Saginaw play Whitmore Prescott, so we're going to meet in Mount Pleasant. So I'll drive up to Mount Pleasant, come back on Saturday, and usually I'll drop the game in, and then Jerry Kirby he'll break that game down, and we'll send text out to all our coaches. They come in, get their film on their laptops. They go break down their positions. Sunday we'll meet, sometimes in the morning, sometimes at night, just whatever works best for everybody's schedule, and we'll break down our own game film first. Then we start preparing for the next week, and we start looking at what's the other team going to do, what are we going to do to stop them, what are we going to do to move the football.
Mark Lemerand's entering into his 14th year as the head football coach at Hillsdale High School, 11 consecutive winning seasons, coming off yet another playoff year last year. You talk about that game preparation. You've been famous now around this area for running a spread-style offense for quite a while. Do you change a lot week to week in terms of what you want to do offensively, or do you pretty much stay with the game plan and maybe just tweak it a little bit from week to week?
What I like about the spread for us is we can attack different areas of the field, and so depending on what the defense wants to stop, we should be able to have an answer, whether it's an inside, outside, or whether it's getting the ball down the field. We should be able to find an area that we can attack and try to exploit a little bit. So that's why I like the spread. When we went we used to run a veer system and the under center. I felt that we could really attack the inside, but we didn't have much downfield game, and we didn't have much outside, but it was a lot inside. And so switching to the spread allowed us to spread the field out.
Okay, let's talk about a couple of rumors that are floating around the coffee shops in town, and that is that you've tweaked the one of the rumors I've been hearing, I'm glad to have you here to talk to the fans and the parents and everybody about this. I'm hearing that you've kind of changed the style a little bit, maybe running a little more two-back this year than you normally have. Is that the case? And if so, why have you made that adjustment?
We switched to more two-back last year.
Okay.
We had two-backs last year and the year before, so we started integrating more of our two-back set with three receivers. This year we may be a little more balanced between 4 receivers and 3 receivers. It depends on what the situation is. In the last couple of years, I just thought our backs were two good solid backs that get out there. Brandon McMullen, back when we had Dustin Moyer, we had Dustin Lewis last year. We had just good solid backs that I thought we needed that extra back in the backfield and utilize that talent.
You consider your running back or your quarterback to be a running back?
Yes.
So he's got to have that whole skill set.
Yes.
Not the ability to read a defense, the ability to make the throw on the run or whatever the case may be, and the ability to take the punishment downfield on a run.
Yes. I think that's important, that when you're trying to defend the spread, you can defend the receivers, you can defend the running backs, but if the quarterback is a run threat also, that's an extra body that's very difficult to defend. And so we consider our quarterback an extra running back there.
Do we make too much of the quarterback position as football fans? Maybe people who enjoy the game and watch it casually always want to talk about the quarterback, the Tom Brady's at the pro level or whatever the case may be. Is that about right? I mean, is the quarterback that important even in what you do to really be the focal point to what you're trying to do?
I think the quarterback's important at all levels, but I think the center's important.
Right.
And you got to be able to snap the ball. The running back's got to be able to run the ball correctly and make the right reads. Every position's important. Every position has fundamentals. And I think the importance sometimes that they put on high school football quarterbacks is more than what it is. That might be more newspaper stuff, but if you're talking about Peyton Manning or some of the guys in the pro level, some of the stuff that they do out, they're running it. They're calling the plays, they're doing it all. In high school, I don't think it's quite the case. Yeah, we do have some checks and things that our quarterback can check out of, but primarily he's out there just another player for us, and we feel we can sub guys in at quarterback if we need to.
Mark Lemerand is the coach of the Hillsdale Hornets and entering into his 14th season with a game this weekend against Jackson Northwest. That's Friday night, and then the big trip, as you mentioned, to Whitmore Prescott. The new league. I talk to Rick Bailey every year and the guys in the Big 8, and they love being in the Big 8 because it's been the Big 8 since the beginning of time, and they've had these same rivalries, And now here you guys are switching out of your league into a different league. Is it a big deal? Is it something that you think about at all? And what's sort of your thought process about jumping into that new league?
It is a really good football league. They've had a lot. State champ 2 years ago, state runner-up couple years before that, and I mean just year in and year out, it's good quality football, and it's smash mouth. So they're going to try and just pound the football. So when we look at that league, it is a change from what we've been doing or who we've been playing. Now we have had a crossover with that league, so we played Hudson, Onstead, and Blissfield last year. Years before we played Dundee, Erie Mason, and we've always scrimmaged with Ida. So we're familiar with these teams, but when you go into a league situation, that does change things a little bit, and now you're going to see them year after year after year.
Numbers this year, I understand you're running 21, 22 guys at the varsity level and maybe 30-some at the JV level. Is that about right?
About right. I think when we put the roster together today, the official roster, there's 24 dressed on the sideline and 30-ish on the JV program.
What's your philosophy about bringing up young guys even during the season a couple of weeks in? Have you done that in the past, and is it sort of by necessity watching how the kids at the JV level are doing?
Yeah, it really is. It depends on what the needs of the varsity are. Obviously, if in an ideal world, juniors and seniors are varsity and freshmen and sophomores are JV. As we needed some bodies this year, we have some low numbers in our junior class, but we had some sophomores step up and do a real nice job for us, and we think that they can get out there and be players.
The word is that you've never brought up a freshman.
That's correct.
Is that right?
That is correct.
Because I know I brought up freshmen. We're a little more smaller school down at Camden, and it almost became a necessity a few times. But to be able to say I've never brought up a freshman is because you've had some pretty good freshmen.
We've had some pretty good juniors and seniors.
That right on.
Yeah. So it's if we had a freshman that we felt was ready and could contribute to the team, absolutely we'd bring him up. But that's a big jump to go from 8th grade to varsity football. You look at some of the players we've had, from Drew Barabee to Mikey Blanchard. We've had some outstanding players, and we haven't had a freshman be able to step up to that level yet.
Okay, let's talk about the game this weekend, Jackson Northwest. Can you give us, the fans and the folks that are going to make that trip, that is a road game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're on the road for that. Tell us a little bit about that football team.
They got a new coach, Corey Slater, who's he's a real excited guy. He's got the kids motivated up there. They're working hard. We went and saw them scrimmage last week, and we were impressed with the effort that their kids gave. And they've got a fullback that's about 270 pounds. They're enormous up front. They got a quarterback that's a second year starting. Their tailback had 900 yards last year, I think, somewhere around that. He's back. So they present some problems for us. They're an I team, and they're going to want to try and smash it at us. So we'll see how it goes.
You spend more time, on average, this might be a dumb question, but do you spend more time worrying about defense and how to stop whoever you're facing, or more time on the offensive side of the ball as far as the game plan?
I'm pretty blessed with our coaching staff. I got guys that are competitive, that they're going to spend the time, and I don't have to worry about the defensive side of the ball as much. I probably spend more time focused on the offensive side, and I let Jerry Kirby and Kirk Putnam and Mark Wilson worry about the defensive side.
Seems like you would have found some football coaches that like football in this staff. I mean, these guys are intense. They know the game, and I bet it's fun to work with them every year.
It is. We have a good time. We laugh a lot. We're competitors, though. Right? I think we're all still competitive, and we have high expectations for our kids on the field and the classroom, and we let them know that. But at the same time, I want the kids to play because it's fun. I enjoy coaching. When it's not fun anymore, I'm not going to coach. But I still enjoy it. I still enjoy coming to practice every single day. Let's
talk about your team as far as the kids. And you brought one of the kids with you tonight. Talk about the young man you brought with you.
Hunter's been on the varsity since he was a sophomore. We brought him up, and he was one of those kids that contributed to the team. We needed a defensive end. Joe Munger, who's also on the team, got hurt against Albion, so we brought Hunter up that year. And Hunter played defensive end for us, and he was also a backup running back. And he was kind of our power back. You can see he's a big kid, big strong kid. But this year going into it, Hunter, we needed him to transfer the offensive line. I've got some other backs, but we had a shortage of offensive linemen, and so we asked Hunter before the season. And just to show the character of Hunter, he's absolutely, coach, no problem. And he jumps down, and right now he's going to be starting probably at our right tackle. So.
What about that, Hunter? I mean, I've had players before who have been running backs that we've talked to about, going down onto the offensive line for the good of the team, and the reaction sometimes is not all that positive. The running back sort of the glory position and that sort of thing. What about your decision to go ahead and do it for the team?
Well, it really is just really about the whole team aspect of the whole thing. Every after practice, we always break down with team, and that really is what's driven home to us, so that it's about the team. We're not specializing one person out there. And if you really, during our film, we're not just saying, look at him. We're looking at all our positions, especially with our coaches. My coach, McCavitt, he's our offensive line coach. Love the guy to death. It's my first year with him, but it's been absolutely fun with all the offensive line stuff we do. When they first asked me, I will say I wasn't too thrilled about it, but hey, you get to play. It's fun. Why not? And it's been fun and just a big learning curve really fast.
I love watching spreads run well. A lot of people try to run the spread and maybe don't run it so well, but it's got to be an entirely different world for you from being a running back, and especially a receiver and a quarterback, and reading those coverages and thinking about it that way. And then on the line and the line calls and all of that stuff inside, it's got to be a lot different.
It is in an aspect, but really it just comes down to blocking. There's only one guy that can hold the football at a time, and you got to remember the rest of you are still the team. You have to block for him, and that he can't make that outstanding run if the rest of your team isn't blocking for you. And especially with how our Coach McCavitt is teaching our offensive line this year, it's really simple, really easy to catch on to, and I really like it, and it's fun.
And defensively, you're still playing LB a little bit, right?
Yeah, I'm middle linebacker. I'm one of the middle linebackers.
You're living the dream, man.
Yeah, it's fun.
You get to be right in the middle of everything, right?
Yeah, that's how I like it.
Now, are you calling defense in the huddle and that sort of thing?
We do a muddle, and I have Coach Kirby on the sideline yelling out the defense that he wants, and I relay it to the whole team, make sure all my linemen are in their correct position.
No trouble hearing Coach Kirby from across the field. I've witnessed that myself.
Not at all.
Coach Lem, talk about some of your returning guys this year and some of the sort of important performances you're going to have from some of those returning guys this year.
Oh, yeah. On our offensive line, Zach Van Orman's back.
Right.
He's a two-way player. A big 6'5", 250-some pounds. He has potential to play college football, but we're expecting big things out of him. Sean Miller, he's returning All-State from last year. We're expecting big plays out of him. Sean's a good player, very competitive. Brandon McMullen rushed for 970, 980, something like that. And we're looking for him to do about the same, if not better. We got some receivers. I'm real impressed with Andrew Wilcox stepping up, playing receiver, linebacker for us. Strange combination, but normally our guys are just receivers.
Right.
They come off the field and we can coach them up. But this year a little different with two-way guys.
You got to have Wilcox on the defense. I mean, the way that guy's put together, not just physically but mentally. Wilcox would like to hit you. So would Sean Miller, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
You got some guys. I don't like to use the word headhunters in the high school game, but I think you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
They're not trying to kill anybody, literally, but they'd like to put a hit on somebody.
Yeah, you never know going into a season how aggressive your team is going to be. In our first live scrimmage, we did our blue-gold scrimmage, and it was very, very physical. I'll say that. And so we don't do a whole lot of live in our practices right now. I'm not real concerned about if our guys are going to hit because they bring it hard. So.
Any names that Hornet fans maybe aren't so familiar with, some of the young guys coming up that you think are going to have an impact this year?
Cam Loomis, who didn't start last year, he's played. We asked him to move from guard to center in the wintertime, and he started working on his snaps then. And every spread starts with a shotgun snap, which is so important.
Right.
And through our scrimmage and through our blue-gold scrimmage, we've had 100% good snaps coming out of Cam. So I'm looking forward to seeing him develop and become the player, and that offensive line coming together. Joe Munger, I haven't mentioned his name, but he's been starting on the varsity for 2 years also. But he's now going to be a two-way player also. Kevin Kirby, we brought up. He's one of the sophomores we brought up. I've been real impressed with
Patrick Drews.
Well, Patrick Drews, but Kyle Bernard also at running back. Kyle's another sophomore that, the first couple of practices at the varsity level is, it's a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden you go from JV to varsity and you think you can keep that same speed and you got to pick it up. Well, since the first couple of practices, he's done a terrific job. And, he's a dangerous kid to get the ball in his hands.
We haven't talked about quarterback. Kenton Mccosh starting at quarterback this year?
Yeah, I think so. Unless something drastically changes by tomorrow, I would say he's going to get the start. But I see Sean getting in there too. To us, I've talked about this before, but you rotate your tackle, you can rotate your running back. We can rotate our quarterbacks also. And each one gives us a little different dimension.
Some people, one of the sayings is if you got two quarterbacks, you got none. In your case, if you've got two pretty good ones, you've got some real assets there to be able to use. And, with Hodis getting hurt a couple of years ago, you've shown in the past you need to have more than one guy that can run that position.
Back when Brad Otterbein was quarterback, Mikey Blanchard was his backup, and then Mikey was quarterback, C.J. Hinkle, and then C.J. to Mitchell to Mike Kirby. And we've always had two ready to go at any time, and a lot of confidence in the starters and the backups.
Kenton Mccosh is so fast. The kid can really run. I've not seen him play quarterback a lot. He's not, 6'3" or anything like that. But what does he bring to the position as a quarterback?
Leadership. He knows. He could probably tell you what, just like Travis last year, he could probably tell you what everybody's job is on the offensive line, the running backs, the receivers. He can read defenses. He knows the offense inside and out. I could probably stand back and let him call it. But I'm not going to do that. But I could do that, I think, with him. So
you still enjoy calling plays after all these years?
I do.
You still get a kick out of it?
I do. I think it's like a chess match. I like playing chess, and it's kind of what's the defense going to do to try and stop your inside or outside game, and what's your counter to that.
And when you get that thing rolling downhill, which it has a lot over the last 14 years, that's got to be a lot of fun.
It is. We can score quickly, but I think we can go a little ball control more than what we have in the past, and maybe this year it's a little bit more. Pick up 4 or 5 yards at a pop.
You look on that JV side of the ball, and a kid that I've gotten to know really well is out in that lobby. Martin Peterson, come over from the Hillsdale Academy. What's it like for a kid like that who's never played a down of football in his life, maybe in the backyard with a Nerf ball, but coming in as a freshman, having never played at the middle school level or anything like that? That's got to be an interesting adjustment, learning the terminology and all of that. The mental part of it's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We take our kids the first week of practice, and we go to Fort Custer up in Battle Creek, where we're with the kids 24 hours a day, and we get a chance to spend a lot of time either on the practice field or with the kids. And I talked to Scott Lannis about this because he was the same situation. Came from the academy, transferred us to play football. Freshman year, that's his first experience with Hillsdale football, and just like Martin, they both really enjoyed the camp. They learned a lot, and Martin's learning every day but he's coming from when he hasn't played before. There's a long way to go yet, but I've been very impressed with his progress.
It ain't soccer, is it?
It's not soccer. No,
it really isn't soccer. You talk about what you love about the job, and obviously the competition and the kids. That's what you started off with, and you talk about a kid like a Travis Hodis going off to the military academy, and just the total class that kid represents. And I know you've got probably dozens of kids you could name like Travis Hodis over the years. That's got to be pretty special to think back to all those high-character young men that you've had a chance to work with.
This past year I got a call from Josh Dye, who happened to be coaching at Purdue at the time, and they were going to go play the bowl game over there, and he said, "Hey, Coach, I got a couple extra tickets if you'd like to come out." And I just, I couldn't make it with him, but, I just got chills just thinking about, okay, he thought of me, called me up, and just offered me these tickets because he had some extra ones. And it's the relationships you build with the kids. That's why I still enjoy doing this.
Yep. Well, we enjoy watching Hornet football. A couple of road games to start off, and then our first home game. Oh, we got 3 straight weeks on the road.
Correct.
And then you're home for a game against Hudson.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That ought to be fun.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it every year.
Coach Lemerand, Hunter Nemeth, have an awesome season. Best of luck to you guys. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.